Hi guys, how are you? Good afternoon, good evening, good night for Europe, midnight in Europe, evening, night in early night in South America, still 6 o'clock in Mexico, Colombia. Okay, so we are here 4 p.m. in California, 7 p.m. in Miami, Santiago, Chile. So we're gonna have today a great guest. Ricardo, how are you? Today we're going to have an English interview. Welcome, Ricardo Mendivil from West Palm Beach. How is things are going, Ricardo, over there? Martin, welcome. I hope you guys understand English because Tito Vazquez for USA wanted to do the interview in English since he studied in UCLA, California, and also worked on the LTA. Thank you, Ricardo. Work on for the English Federation, LTA. No tienes Tito, you're here, so I'm gonna give you the welcome. There you go. Our special guest for this Friday, Tito. How are you?
Hola, Daniel. How are you, mate?
How are you doing? Good?
Fine. We're going through a winter today here in Buenos Aires. A little bit cold.
Oh.
So, struggling with these times.
Yeah, exactly. Here is spring, Tito. Beautiful.
Well, I know. I've been there a few times. I had great memories of California. I used to be there with the mamas and the papas, like California dreaming.
Exactly.
Those were the days, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. Tito, thank you so much for having us. I know you're very busy writing. You're writing, working on it's a new project. It's a new book, right, Tito? You told me?
Yeah. I love literature, really. And I wrote the first three books were poetry. And about a year and a half ago, I did a book like it was an autobiography with fiction called Octopus Garden, will be the translation in English.
Okay.
The Octopus's Garden, like the Beatles song, but El Ombligo del Pulpo in español.
Yeah.
Now I'm working in a completely different fiction, and very hard. Takes every day, like everything, like anything, like tennis, like dancing, like music, every day you go to work.
Exactly. And you like to also, Tito, travel, right? A lot. I see you like to travel the world, still going out, right?
That happened a lot. Yeah. At the moment, I basically, time goes by and you're a little bit closer to the deadline.
Yeah.
And therefore, I like to stay home and do your own rhythm. Time goes too fast these days.
Exactly.
You are Googling up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Too much for my taste.
Tito, I learned that you came to UCLA in 1967. Is that right, Tito? I mean, 1967 to study UCLA?
Well, I started UCLA in 1967, but I went to the Orange Bowl in 1966.
Okay.
And then I got a type of a scholarship to be at the Jack Kramer Club, which was in Palo Alto.
Exactly.
Or Palos Verdes, I think. Sorry, it's
Palos Verdes.
I confused both of them with Vic Braden.
Yeah.
Vic Braden was the chief, and it was very exciting to be there. I remember Tracy Austin was 4 years old when she was there training. Her racket was bigger than her size, and we stayed there for 2 months. Then I played some tournaments in America, like they even let me play Kalamazoo for 18 and under, which usually is only for Americans.
Wow.
And I lost in the semifinals, and I won River Oaks in Houston. So I was quite good in my age group. I was in the best in the war, and then I went to Europe. And obviously I won a scholarship at UCLA, and I came back, played the East Coast, the tournaments on grass. There was Southampton, Long Island, Marion, Pennsylvania. And then I started UCLA in 1967, yes. September 1967.
Wow.
Impossible to forget.
Yeah, Tito, and not many people know that you were born in Spain, right? Sevilla.
Yes, I was born in Spain,
Yeah.
and I came to Argentina. My father and my mother came to Argentina looking for America,
Mm.
trying to make America. And I was 3 years old in a ship, and that's it. Then I went back later on. I went back to Spain, and I love Spain. I have also a part of my life, even though I spend most time in Argentina, belongs to Spain.
So you live every time you go to Spain, you feel that you belong, right? A little bit of a
Yes,
Spain?
well,
Okay.
let's say that my mother was died there. I went there 1 week before she was very sick,
Mm.
and we went there to her house of her sister and died there. And then my father died here, but I took him on a plane, on a coffer, and he's buried on the same cemetery as my mother in Spain. So I go there quite a lot, almost every year.
Tito,
I have all my family from my mother's side is in Spain.
perfect, Tito, perfect, great memories. And you know what? It's interesting because you speak English very well. You study in the USA and UCLA, and I can't tell you how much time I'm spending telling the kids study English, learn English, and if you have the opportunity, come to the States to study, in college.
Well, definitely. Even today is definitely the choice to do. I mean, before, still it was not that, let's say, popular, but today, I think the first choice would be to become a professional, to go to the United States, to the university first. Yeah, definitely.
What memories, Tito, from UCLA? My son studied law in UCLA. What memories you have? It's a beautiful school. Beautiful.
No, the best memories of my life. I mean, at the time that I went to UCLA, first of all, Westwood Village was a small village. It was one theater, and it was very. UCLA was not the one you know now. It was a very remembrance of older days, and I guess was the best time to be at that time in California, I believe. In Hollywood, they had three guys that were having a great time. One was Dino Martin, the other one was Frank Sinatra, and the other one was Sammy Davis Jr.
Wow.
And the UCLA was there. It was right in Beverly Hills and Bel Air,
Yeah.
which was a social place, a lot of tennis houses with tennis courts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we were spoiled because we were very good at UCLA. America was very popular in tennis, and UCLA at the moment was fighting to be number one with USC. All the world tennis was in California. Pancho Gonzalez was there. Pancho Segura was the coach of the Beverly Hills Tennis Club. Alex Olmedo was the coach of the Beverly Hills Hotel. Tony Traver was around there. I mentioned to you Vic Braden and Jack Kramer. So definitely was no better place on earth to be at the time for tennis and for movies and for also you got a renaissance going. All of a sudden, the university exploded, the peace and love, the movement against Vietnam, and you got Angela Davis, the Black Panthers, you got the assassination of the Kennedys, you got the assassination of Martin Luther King, you have Jimi Hendrix died, Janis Joplin died. So what can I tell you? I mean, there were too many things in a short period of time. Therefore, they leave you a scar that you'll never forget. And I was very grateful for UCLA, very grateful to California, very grateful to the people, the older people I met. They helped me a lot. They love to help the young students, and and I got a lot of help. I mean, they want me to live there forever, but definitely I was meant to go back to Europe and go back to my ancestors and see a different part of life also. And I didn't stay, but I stayed 7 years in a row, which was great time.
Tito, and
salud.
Yeah, I don't have my glass, so imagine
Argentina is
cheers.
Dinner time.
Cheers, yes, sir. I have to wait 4 more hours, Tito, for that.
Okay.
So Tito, Tell us about Jimmy Connors, right? He was your
Well, Jimmy
teammate, right?
Yes, he was a very excellent player.
Mm.
So when I went to UCLA with Jeff Borowiak, who was another guy that won the NCAA, and he was very, very good player, very good. He played the piano, classical music. He was very good in pool. He was very good in many things. We recruited a guy that was named Harun Rahim from Pakistan, which was an unbelievable player.
Mm.
One of the best players I've ever seen. He would play Rascal Tanner, and you serve, I serve, you serve, I serve, and beat him any time. 38, 36 in the third if you want, but play 10 times better. And then the following year, it was our last year, we recruited, the same players, we wanted to be the best team. And we were recruiting in the summertime the best juniors, and we helped UCLA to make Jimmy come over. And Jimmy was something special, and he was very lucky in a certain way, or not, because maybe he deserved it, but right away, he was training at UCLA with us. He came, he was number 4 in the team. Because Borowiak, Harun Rahim, and myself were before him. He ended up number 2 in the team at the end of the year, and he won the NCAA. So he improved that much in 9 months. But besides practicing with us, he had the help of Pancho Gonzalez.
Yeah.
But best of all, his mentor was Pancho Segura. And for me, in my own knowledge, Pancho Segura was the best strategy coach that I ever seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Definitely. He will go to Wimbledon. You know, they bet in Wimbledon. They have bets. The second week of Wimbledon, or the first week you go and bet. And he will go there every year. And we were good friends, you know. He put me a name, called me Lightning Thick. You know, like all the Indians, el toro sentado, sitting bull, Lightning Thick, Pierre Relámpago. And he will come to England and watch the tournament. And he will never bet the first week, because he said, I will never bet by names. I like to see the players, how they are playing this week, how they're playing now. Not the name, you know, the guy won a tournament 2 weeks ago or 1 month ago. And the second week he will bet. He never missed a bet. I mean, he always knew who was going to be the champion in Wimbledon. Yeah, he was great. So Jimmy, which had a two-handed backhand from he was a lefty. Let's say he has a two-handed backhand from the left side, but Pancho Segura had the best forehand in the world with two-handed at the time of Jack Kramer. He was set by Jack Kramer. So from that side, he knew exactly what to do, when, why, and where. And I think he helped Jimmy Connors a lot. And the other day, I ran through an interview with Jimmy, and finally, he recognized it truly. He said he was an amazing guy. He taught me the court sense. He taught me about life.
Yes.
Taught me everything. And it's true. It's true. Pancho used to tell him a lot and used to make him be different. Jimmy was not sympathetic guy. So you have to be a player that makes some fun, and the people will be behind you, and you will be a local everywhere. You'll be local in Madrid, local in Tokyo. You have to learn that. Same thing as Santana used to say the same thing. So he was a good buruco. Pancho was great. He was with Jimmy every day. And after that, he even coached Jimmy on a one-to-one match play. You know, when he played Lever for 300,000, winner takes all, and blah, blah, blah. So that's it. And he was always on his own, Jimmy. He was, he was a very nice guy, very competitive. He knew exactly what he wanted. He knew he didn't want to become part of ATP. He didn't want to be friends with tennis players too much, because he liked to compete with them. So he always had his own way. And when he finished UCLA the next year, he beat Stan Smith in 3 tournaments in the USA without losing a set. And Stan had won Wimbledon that year. So in 1 year, the guy was right on top.
So he was special. I mean,
yeah, he was. You can tell some guys are special.
Tito, sorry. Yeah, when you saw him, sorry, when you saw him there at the school, Jimmy, Tito Vazquez,
Yeah.
You see that you saw that guy? Okay, this guy could be number one in the world one day, or not really?
Yes, definitely. Okay. And by the way he was improving and the way he was moving, you can sometimes you can make a mistake, definitely. But if things go well, when you're 17, 18, you can tell. You could tell the same with Andy Murray in England when I went there. Definitely, the guy was different. He had a different mentality, a different approach to the game, and he had the game. So he knew that, things can go wrong. You can get injured. If you get bad advice. But Jimmy had the best advice in the game. Pancho Gonzalez and Pancho Segura. What more can you get at that time? No more, baby.
Wow. Amazing. But it wasn't that common, right, for players to have coach, Tito, right? In that time, back then?
No, he didn't have a coach throughout his career, Jimmy Connors, basically. Yeah. I mean, there was a thing that happened with Pancho Segura. Pancho Segura, he was a guy probably that wanted to have somebody that came with that talent. He was a very funny guy, very, very, very friendly. Everybody liked him very much. And but Jimmy was like he did his own circuit. He had a guy named Bill Riordan, which was the son of a boxing promoter. And in 1973, this guy contacted, let's say, Nastase, which was, the number 1, 2 of the war, and Jimmy Connors, and make his own circuit. He invited, I played that circuit. He invited like one guy from different places of the war and make his own circuit. So that was Jimmy,
Wonderful. Tito, sorry, you have Alejandro Astiz, a very good friend of mine. He's in southern part, going to San Diego, and he said, Tito, come to San Diego to have a wine with us.
Well, it's a nice place, San Diego, La Jolla.
Yeah.
But I spent great times there, and basically I went back and it was not the same. It's difficult to compare and to beat sometimes, and I think that I told you at that time there was a renaissance in California.
Yeah,
exactly. With the music, with the literature, cinema, woman, peace and love, drugs, even to a certain extent at university level to expand the mind. It was not like just for screwing around. It was for a certain, okay, where do we go? Where can we grow up a little bit more? Can we know some things that we don't know? It was was some type of experience available. So it was very strong.
Tito, Alejandro is also asking, what do you think about John McEnroe?
John McEnroe, well, the guy is a genius. John McEnroe has a sense of the court, how to cover angles. He has a sense of placing the ball where he wants, and therefore close the angle according to where the ball comes from. See, he could volley like this and like that, like terrible, but because he knew where the ball was coming, and he was there just to make a easy shot. Great serve. Very few people are able to serve basically with a slice serve, the second serve, over and over again. I mean, and with the perfection, and he placed it right on the line. So he was one of the best servers in the world by that. First and second serve, right on target. Very slice, very difficult to pick up, especially on grass or any fast surface. So very talented guy, and a very good competitive spirit. And also you could tell that he was going to be good. I was in the tournament in Wimbledon. My last Wimbledon, this is in a book I wrote. I was already kind of like a bohemian multiplied by 5. And he played a qualifying. He not only qualified, he got to the semifinals of Wimbledon.
Yeah.
So imagine how much money the people offer him to become pro. And he said, no. I'm not ready to play the pros every day. And I also study. I want to go 1 year to study. And he went to Stanford for 1 year.
Yeah, exactly.
And then came back and become, a top player. So to do that, you have to be sure of yourself. You have to have a certain quality of the mind that is not average. and that was
Exactly.
John McEnroe.
Tito, I was asking former players, coaches about who is the best player in South America ever. And coaches from Spain, players, Marat Safin, many others told me the best South American player ever, Marcelo Rios. Are you agree with that?
Well, I will say that he was an excellent player, but he was not, let's say, consistent enough. He definitely had a way of a talent of playing very, very special. And when he was on, he was excellent, excellent. But he was not steady. His mind was kind of, I would say, not really great. He's showing it at the moment. I will not take Rios for the best player because to call a best player, you have to give credit to history. You have to give credit to what you achieved during a certain period of time. Let's say he could have been, but he was not. You could say like Dalbadian could have been a great player, but he was not. He was an excellent player. He had talent to be better than what he did, but he didn't. So you have to consider that. I think Pancho Gonzalez is not South American, but is Latin America. Is in that caliber. You know, at the time, you see Alex Olmedo was from Peru and he won Wimbledon.
Yeah, exactly.
He won Davis Cup of the United States against Australia, playing as a visitor. And you know, you have to live throughout the lifetime to appreciate and to be a bridge over troubled waters, because everybody thinks their own present time is the best time in the world. Yeah. You know, all the young children, they think the best time is their time, but it's not true. You have to know the difference, and it's difficult to compare. Yeah. So I would not put Rios in that because in that sense of continuity and production over a long period of time. I think Vilas did a hell of a lot without having, I would say, same talent as Rios as far as the hand, but he had more talent in the brain. He had also a lot of talent in stay there to win, and a great backhand, great passing shot. So there were a few things also that he was talented as anybody, even though you don't, at that time it was tricky, you know, the hand makes you flashy and you think, you know, all the talent in the hand, but the hand is just one part of it. There's too many parts in the individual.
Tito, and what is your own definition of, oh man, I would love to have that wine. You're making me.
It was voted number one.
Send me one.
Q.
Send me
it's
one.
Like Susie Q, Sucardi Q.
Okay, Tito. So what is your definition of talent, Tito? Because it's a word everybody talks about. My kid, my son is talented. My daughter is talented. What is talent for you, Tito?
Well, you have to probably divide the talent maybe in three areas, maybe.
Okay.
So one is the mind, definitely, isn't it? It could be the mind, definitely. It has to be the mind. One could be the legs, isn't it? I mean, without legs, very difficult, no? I mean, Jimmy Connors had great legs. Agassi had great legs. You know, Federer moves extremely well. Has definitely a beauty of movement that is very delicate. And then the heart. You know, I would say that those three things together. You know, the heart has to be with the emotional side. You know, the mental side and the physical side. I would say that those things are more important than lifting weights and having a big, you know, muscular body, you know, whatever, you know, a lot of people are training. And today you can see many players are like robot-like, you know, physically all from the same type of build-up. And, but definitely, I mean, if you are more flexible and quick in reactions and your body is not so stiff, you have a better chance of being a better player. I believe, you know, it's like power equal mass times acceleration. And the acceleration gives you the flexibility, no all the build-up strong people, no?
So how about people, Tito, but what do you think when people, you know, coaches is normal to say, oh, she has good hands. He has good hands. Everybody talks about hands. What is What
Well,
is
I
good
mean, I
hands for
like
you,
to have.
Tito?
I rather have good hands.
But
Definitely.
what is it? What is to have good
Well,
hands for
good
you to
hands.
play?
Good hands is to be able to, let's say, to feel the ball, to be able to do a drop volley, drop shot, you know, to hit a good lob, a bit a tricky shot, and to fake, you know, to have a different, you know, let's say McEnroe had a good hand,
Okay.
very good hand. So, but with that hand alone, you don't get anywhere, you
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
And this
Nalbandian,
is it.
Tito. Sorry, Nalbandian. You think they have good hands too?
Nalbandian had an amazing quality. Nalbandian he
Okay.
was the best in the world. As seeing the ball, seeing the play as the play was going by. I mean, he was, for me, he was the best. Of, you know, he hit there and see the guy over there and the ball come here. He will play the right place. He will play the perfect place the ball in the perfect place as the point was going through. You know, that was improvisation. As the point was going through, he saw the game like a chess player. You know, like you see a chess guy. He knows in tennis you can maybe, if you're good enough, you can make 3 or 4 plays in advance. Okay?
Okay.
But in chess, the guys, no say, go to 10, 15, and they're
Yeah.
unbelievable. They can predict it. If I do this, he'll do that. If I do that, so Nalbandian, he was very good on that. But it was not a, so you can say he has good hands, but he also had a good hand with the visual aspect of the game.
Tito, and can we teach that? I mean, or is something that you're born with? What you say, anticipation, reading the game.
No, reading the game you can learn. Jimmy Connors learned a lot. He was very good. He was very competitive, but also you can learn. No? If I tell you, Danny, I tell you like I was doing Davis Cup captain a little while ago. I was looking for a doubles. There was no doubles in Argentina, and I put some guys that they consider they volley well. And when I see them play, I say, wow, how can the guy do that? I mean, how can the guy not do the proper thing? You know, which is something you do when you are an attack player and you go to volley, is something you do. The guys will not do it. And you can teach that. You can teach that. So obviously they do not teach them. They do not go to the net too often. So they are not really good in doing that. One thing is to volley. One thing is to move well to volley. It's two different things. One thing is to volley. I can volley well, but I don't know how to volley. It's a different. Edward knows how to volley, or Rafter. They know how they move and how they volley. And the split step is very important. I mean, the good volleyers or the good attacking players, they attack a lot. They do the split step almost at the same time as the other guy is going to hit the passing shot.
Yeah, this is a big, Tito, sorry, this is a big point. Big lesson for...
It's a great point. Not before, not after.
Perfect.
This guy that I told you that used to volley, he'll be in the air when the guy hit the point, the ball. He'll do the split step, you know, and the guy will hit the ball. He will land it and then react it. That's it. It's not good enough. You understand? So it's like, you know, a guy that in Indian goes to the net, he goes feeling the court and does a split step at the right time, man. I'm watching you. You're going to hit. I'm right there. And then I can react where you hit.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's certain things you can teach, you know, how to close the angles. And when I went to California, I was coached in Argentina by the best coaches. Carlos Lynch was a great coach. Carlos Lynch had the best bookstore in South America. He would read a lot, so he knew about Bill Tilden and Drobny, and you call it. Now, who became famous in Argentina's coach? Who is the best known coach of Argentina in the old days? Tell me, Danny.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yes, I'm asking you.
I don't know. I mean, I heard about Walter Boer.
Well, let's say that a lot of people give credit to the coach of the guy that teach how to play tennis at Villas.
Felipe Lo Cicero.
Right. But that's why, Danny. That's why, and the answer is always the player makes the coach. If I was champion of the world, Carlos Leach would be the best coach in the world.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
Marcelino Garamo had the best academy in the world in Villa Maria, and Ceballos would be champion of the world, or Cachin, that would be the best coach of the world. And if the same happened in Tandil, you understand?
Yeah.
So that's it's shaky. Okay.
Yeah, but it's great. No, what you said is amazing because people talk about Bollettieri, now Nick Bollettieri. What is your thoughts or feelings about Nick, which he became Nick, so famous? So
no, I know Nick very well. Okay. I know Nick when he came to Argentina. He was like, to me, at that time, obviously I was around for a long time, like the Rolling Stones used to say.
Yeah.
To me, he was not good as far as technically or strategy or whatever. He was a great motivator. And therefore, then he becomes like the best known coach in the world because he was very, very clever in business. He had great help. He had the management that had all the best juniors in the world that had to go to Bollettieri to train free. And that was a great event. You bring to my academy the best players in the world, whatever, let's say Justin Henning when he's 12, or Sabatini when he's 12. Some players are unbelievable.
Your players become the best players in the world.
Or Monica Sells, okay, they become best players and then they've been through your academy. So you get the credit. But I believe that throughout the years, I was talking when he began, throughout the years after being in the game, throughout all his lifetime, obviously he's a better coach today than he was, like I was telling you 30 years ago when he started. Definitely. I mean, you learn about the game.
Yeah, I can tell, Nick. I worked for him, and what you're saying is right. And he's always saying that. He's learning. He's incorporating new things. You know?
Very, very clever, very clever, very good motivator.
Yeah.
He will go to every place and make you feel like, he makes jokes with you. It will be like Pancho Segura, he will make you how to be a winner everywhere and to buy the public. Very good.
But Tito, you beat Pancho, if I'm not mistaken, at the U.S. Open in 1970, right? The last time that Pancho played.
Yeah,
you got to the fourth. You got to the fourth round, Tito. Hey.
Yeah, I was in UCLA. I was still at the university. And,
how was beating Pancho, Tito?
Well, the guy was tricky. He was old. He was maybe 40 years old, 39, like Roger. But he was very clever, and I had a difficult time. I think it was in 5 sets I won.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it was 5 sets.
So was the U.S. Open, Tito, was the U.S. Open in grass, right?
It was on grass, I played the best on grass. Yeah, I did very well on grass, and even in Boston 3 weeks before I got to the third round, I lost to Cliff Richey in 5 sets. He won the ATP Colgate Grand Prix that year, and I beat like Stockton 8-6, 6-1, 6-1. I used to be quite good at the age of 20, 19, 21. That was probably the best years I have. Then I became too bohemian, let's say. I went away from the university. I didn't have a coach, and I love reading, and I love traveling, and I love women. And I was, sometimes I meet somebody and go to an island like Ibiza for a month. And you cannot do that as a professional tennis player, really.
Exactly. Tito, and you were as high as 85 in 1975 in the rank.
In 1975, what? Sorry.
You were 85 in the world.
Yeah, but I played better before that.
What was the difference?
No ranking.
Yeah, in that time, right?
To me, be 85 at that time is like nothing. It means nothing because all my friends that used to be that 1920, they were number 3, 2, 7, 7, 6, 8. You understand? So
yeah,
to me, it didn't mean anything. That's why I write, and that's why I become involved in other things. I guess I lost once with Villas. Villas did very well in 1974.
Yeah,
we played World Championship tennis together.
You won in
And,
Hilversum, right? With Villas in Hilversum.
yeah, we won here
Yeah.
with the la camiseta de River.
Yeah, like me. Are you still River Plate fan? Yeah, I think.
Yes, definitely. I have
Me too.
good and he's smart guy.
Yeah.
And Villas in 1974, we played together around April, May. We played circuit world Greek group in World Championship Tennis. He ended up like 22. I ended up 24. And 6 months after, he won the Masters in Australia. So basically, his improvement was also amazing. And at that time, I had a few injuries and I had a few disappointments with Argentina, with the federation, and they put me basically in a black list of of the Bohemian.
Oh, really?
Well, yes, definitely. Well, you don't know that because you're too young, but definitely, yeah. They put me in a Davis Cup that I was in Argentina and they play on fast course against Brazil. And I had beat Thomas Cox, who was #1 in Brazil that year on fast course and on wood. And even though I was, let's say, I have this reputation of doing drugs and whatever, I still was the #2, 3 guy of Argentina in the world. And then he put me, and I went to them and talked to them. I said, well, we don't like your private life. And I said, well, I don't know yours. I don't know yours. I don't know what are you talking about. I don't even know myself, who I am, and you're talking about me. So all those things, one by one, first a few injuries, I lost my love for the country in a certain way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you lost.
That hurt.
Okay, yeah.
That hurt. That's why when I became Davis Cup captain later on, I always put juniors and young people, and fortunately that helps a lot. And it proves me right. Like Frana played Davis Cup with me, and he won I think a doubles under a roof, under a freeway, I think, before he played. And Ceballos also played with me for the first time in Davis Cup, and now he became quite a good doubles player. So I think it helps to have your country, behind.
Of course, Tito. And tell us about Victor Pecci, because I talked to him. I interviewed Victor. Remember? You were in the conversation. What memories from Victor working that French Open that he got to the finals, Lucy beat Jimmy Connors in the semis?
Yes, he played. Jimmy Connors was the first Roland Garros that he played.
Yeah.
He was not talking to the French Federation. He was not playing in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
He was didn't like Philippe Chatrier. And that year was the first time he played. So basically, everybody wanted, all the French and all Paris wanted the Ball Connors final. And Pecci was playing Connors in the semifinals. He had beaten Villas in quarterfinals.
Yeah.
6-love, 6-1, 7-5, center court. Just for you guys to remember. Big game.
Yeah, but what happened?
6-love.
Do you remember something in that match?
I remember, I was a coach. 6-love, 6-1, 7-5. At the end of the third set, Villas was playing on clay, on grass, on wood, or on water.
Wow.
He did serve and volley. Imagine. And so Victor was playing great, and I knew how to play Connors by far. So it was not easy, but Connors was playing very well, and he hit una punta, one end, the other end. But the slice of Victor, hurt him a lot in the forehand side, and he was smart and attacking to the middle, and blah, blah, blah. And Victor won in 4 sets, so they were disappointed, the French. By the time they played the finals, Ball was winning very easily. It was like Nadal. No? Ball was impossible to beat in Roland Garros. You will come into the French Open, look at the draw, and will say, this is how far I get. Borg is there, finished. The tournament was finished. Everybody will do that. And the match was 6-4 in the first set. Victor was losing badly, 2 sets to love. I think 5-2 in the third. And all of a sudden, things changed, and 1-7-6, and it was 4-all. He doesn't remember, he didn't tell you. 4-all, 40-15 in the first set we served to go 5-4 up and go to the side of the court, which was the wind. I don't remember the wind was against him or in his favor, but I I like that. But then he double fault. In 40-15, Borg made a great passing shot, and that was it. He lost that game, but he was very close to go to the fifth set, and the momentum was his. And when the match was over, the people, all the French, they clapped and they screamed, Pechi, Pechi, Pechi,
Wow.
because they had seen a great final. They were bored to death to see Borg beating Villas 3-1-2,
exactly.
Salomon 3, Love and Love. Yo qué sé.
Yeah, Villas Gottfried was so easy. 6-0, 6-3, 6-0. Remember Villas Gottfried?
Yeah,
77. Yeah. So Tito, and did you also coach Pablo Raya, or?
I did coach Pablo.
Okay.
Right at the same time with Victor. Victor did some amazing things at the time that he was the best player with me.
Yeah.
He married. He married the same year that he got to he won Nice, semifinals Monte Carlo, finals Roland Garros, finals in Queens, final in Boston, finals in Washington, and then he got married with a 16, 17-year-old girl.
Oh.
I didn't want enough for him. And, so that was a big mistake at the best time of his career, and we paid for it. He was very disappointed 6 months after. He was getting divorced.
Oh.
And that hurts a guy mentally. When a person is true to himself and he has a certain way of acting throughout his life, another side that changes, he's not the same and he's not unsure. So it took us a while to get back. He got back a year after. Then he became like number 11 in the world. And guess what? Guess what? Come on, Danny.
Come on, what happened? He
got married again. He got married again. Looked like a California.
Oh, really? Oh, my goodness.
So in the best 2 moments of his life.
He got married when he was playing the best tennis.
When he was he became number 5, number 6 that year.
Yeah, wow.
For a moment, he got married with this girl that was very young. And the next year, we had a big problem. We went back to number 46, let's say. The third year, we came back from 46 to number 11, getting the taste of it and decided to get married again. So that's it. After the next year, we separated. And I was around with him with Pechi and along with Pablo for 1 year. So Pablo maybe was 2 years, 2.5. He won Bordeaux, finals in Rome. He beat Wilander in the only match that Wilander lost, I think, was Indianapolis on clay. So he was quite good. I used to like him a little bit, play like Santana, but he was tricky on court. Was like an Argentinian from Cordoba, but Peruvian, but he was a little bit. Let's say he liked to have fun, and he was, doing some mysterious adventure once in a while, and that. But
who do you put Pablo in the list of talented players, Tito? Good hands?
Good hands. That's it. Good hands.
Good hands.
You said it. Good hands and a great forehand.
Okay.
And he was tricky with the head, had some confidence, but was not stable, consistent. He lacked a few things, and that's definitely Pablo. He could have been, like we said before, a much better player than what he was. Let's say he's not an achiever. You understand? Somebody can achieve something that is given some talent to achieve better things, but he didn't. There's a saying in America, I don't know how you say, but it's something to with achiever.
Yeah, exactly. Tito, and finally, I want to talk about 2 other South Americans before asking you about your experience in England. Guga Kuerten and Juan Martín del Potro. What is your opinion about these 2 guys?
Well, Guga is amazing, because I was in Colombia playing a challenger. One guy that was champion of the world in 16 and under, I was coaching at the age of 11, was Juan Garat.
Yeah.
Juan Ignacio. He's in Miami coaching. And this guy, Guga, was with his coach, Larry Pasos.
Yeah.
And I'm there, in Medellin. right on the golf course where Gardel was.
Yeah.
Had the airport was there where
Yeah.
Gardel, the best Argentinian tango singer,
Yeah.
died in a plane
Died.
crash.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Larry and I'm telling him, look, that's where Gardel died. And he's telling me he's not doing that well, that he's getting divorced. And I say, why, Larry? Why are you getting divorced? I say, well, I'm coaching this guy Guga since he's very young, and my wife, I arrived one day to home, and she says to me, Larry, Guga or me? And Larry says, and I said, Guga.
Guga.
And so I said, wow. So he took a big chance because Guga was not Guga at that time.
Exactly.
And a few years later, not many years later, I go to Roland Garros, right before I went to work to England. So this crosses with England. And who wins the tournament? Guga, for the first time. So I was invited at a party of Guga was at the Ritz with Larry Passos, and we had a great time, great night. And the next day I had the interview in London with English for the interview for the job. So it was a difficult night I had. But Guga was an unbelievable, amazing player because he had this backhand, this forehand, very peculiar, this straight serve, this way of playing, like looked like he was smiling, and life was a joy. And all of a sudden, this guy was winning without knowing that he was winning, and he started believing. And then he ended up winning like three Roland Garros, which was amazing. He won a master, I think so.
Yes.
He was something unusual. He was not the guy that I would say, like we mentioned before, he was going to be the best player in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We said Jimmy Connell, we said Daniel Murray, but
exactly.
I would not have. When Larry said I chose Guga, I said, wow, amazing.
Well, what a chance. But would you put Guga, Tito, would you put Guga in the top 3 in the history of South American tennis? With Vilas, maybe who else?
Well, there it has to be Juan Martín del Potro also. Yes, I mean Juan Martín is an unbelievable player. He was injured three operations of the wrist. I mean and to come back 3 times and to be number 3, 4 in the world and have the same injury again and come back and be 3, 4 in the world, have the same injury again. It's amazing. And I saw him play in Davis Cup, some unbelievable.
Yeah, you were the captain when he played. I mean,
yes,
in Spain, right? In Spain.
Yes, well, Spain. He beat Djokovic in the semifinals in Serbia, and then he beat Berdych when Berdych was good, because you can beat Maradona when Maradona is not Maradona. But he beat Berdych in Ostrava before winning the US Open, 4-4 in a tennis class, una lección de tenis.
Yeah.
And then I saw him also when I was with the Olympics team. He lost 13-11 in the third in the Wimbledon semifinal with Roger. Unbelievable match that he should have won. And then he beat Djokovic the next day
for the third place.
medal. So, I mean, you have to give credit. So I put him in the top 3 with Guga and maybe Vilas,
And maybe Vilas.
And Rios, go for 4. Go for 4, yeah.
Tito, tell us, we have 10 more minutes. Time flies. Tell us about your experience in England. Why England? Why you work for the LTA? Why you were chosen to work for the LTA?
Because I told you I was in Roland Garros that year that Guga won. And I had some disappointments again with Argentina. I was not happy with a lot of things that were happening here. My father and my mother had died. And I went to Roland Garros just to watch the tournament. And Patrice Hagelauer, the coach of Yannick Noah, was the director of the England Lawn Tennis Federation. He was director of the French Federation. And the English kind of took him to change the system or to do whatever for England. So he saw me in Roland Garros. And I used to know him well because I play with Victor Play. I say I play, Victor Play, Yannick Noah a lot of times. And we beat him most of the time. And he asked me what I do. I said nothing. Basically, I just came to watch the tournament, but I'm ready to do something. I said, why don't you come to England? That, might have a job for you. And that's why I went to England. So I arrived there and, it was very difficult, very difficult. But I have a lot of friends. I love England. You understand? It's like I spent 7 years in California, 7 years in England, and for me, England was like a second home. I used to love to go to Wimbledon because every year that we go to Wimbledon, we rent a flat for 1 month, and it used to be like living a life. I hate to go to a hotel and 2 planes a week. After a few years, I hate it, but I love England because of that reason. First time I went to England, you know how much I paid for a flat 1 week?
No.
£7.
Seven?
£7. You can have a good English Benedict, ex-Benedict for £7 in England today. But I used to rent a flat for a whole week. So I arrived and they give me 16 and over in intersection, the professionals. And I said, well, easy. Easy. I come from America, no problem. And then I started working with the guys, and something completely different from what I expected mentally. And I started working as indoors on September, day in and day out. The guy that they didn't like is the one I like. I said, no, don't send him to Asia to look for points. Leave it here. Leave it with me. I like this guy. That guy in 3 months in the Orange Bowl, we beat the French player. It was Gasquet and all those guys that were the best prospects. The guy that I chose not to go to Asia was a left-handed, then Bogdanovic. But, it took me a long time, and I was reading they attacked England all the time. And that's why English became very good on the war, thanks to the Vikings. And I could not figure it out. The guys were not given 100%. And I used to have some drills that I did a long time ago that were very close drills. That were like from Davis Cup, 2 against 1, very close. They hated it because they were in a very difficult situation. And one day, I figured it out. I was listening. I learned something like Winston Churchill. One day he said, America and England are 2 countries separated by common language. And I said, well, he's right. American has nothing to do with English, the way they speak. So Churchill was right. 2 countries separated by a common language. But then, when I got the click of what these guys were doing, I got it watching a Hollywood Oscar presentation, and this guy, Peter Ustinov, which was an English actor with origin not from England. Ustinov is not an English name. He received the Oscar, and he says, well, in England, they teach us how to lose gracefully. and now that I won, I don't know what to say.
Look at that.
That was the click. These guys were losing gracefully. When they were in a hard situation,
wonderful,
they will go for it. Boom. And you say they will miss by this much. I say, wow, bad luck. But when we do it all the time, it's not bad luck. It's just they didn't want to come back into the point anymore. They didn't want to run anymore. They didn't want to hustle anymore. It was the easy way out. And that, with Peter Ustinov, I figured it out. So I had a...
What do you do, Tito? What was your system, though? What change you applied in the trainings?
No, this is a system that everybody does, his own system. Yeah? So I took a lot from Holman. Then I went with Pecci to Holman for 3 weeks. I learned a few things. I knew he didn't have a lot of things that I needed for Pecci to play ball on clay courts. So this is when I did these close drills. I learned some things for Pato Alvarez, what he put in Sanchez. So you do your own salad. If you have your own academy, you have your own salad. Basically, I think, anyway. So with English, I used to work a lot. But then when I was going to get Andrew Murray, who was the guy that was going to come into my group at 16, they changed director. So let's say Hagelauer went back to France, and then the coach of Tim Heman came into director, and he said, well, I think we're not doing well from the lower age. So he closed 6 centers of training that he had in England and stay with 2. And he put me head coach of one of them, and I ended up being the head coach in Bath, one of the centers, with girls and boys 16 and under, from 12 to 16. And I tell you, it was the best place I lived in my life, but it was like being in Walt Disney.
Wow.
It's an unbelievable city. You have to go to know it's from the 17 or 1800s, 1878, when they were killing the guy, Louis XIV or Louis XV. In France, they were building this amazing stuff there in Bath. And everything is preserved. So you walk at night, the same street 200 years ago. That's what Jane Austen lived. She's a writer.
Wow.
And I had a great time there. It was a very beautiful, did a good job. Very good job. I used to send people from Japan back to England. You know, the coaches were, the English coaches at the time, there was no foreign coaches. And they were beginning to open up. And the English coaches were not confronting the player because England was in need of a great player. And they will give the reason to the player all the time, and the coaches will lose the job.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind losing the job, so I basically did that. You know, a guy from Japan, I would send him back to England. A guy from Miami, send him back because he didn't behave properly or didn't do a good job, you know.
Excellent, Tito. Amazing story. So the time flies talking to you. We can be hours and hours. So,
life is a trip. Life is a trip. Life is a trip.
Yeah, exactly. Tito, couple more questions. And I'll let you go. Have a good dinner. More wine. Yes. More wine.
Salud.
Salud. Salud, Tito. Cheers. Is tennis now, everybody talks about the rackets, equipment, the preparation, nutrition.
Yeah.
Everything has improved, but tennis itself is better now, Tito, the quality of tennis or not?
To me, no.
Okay.
No, it's been robotized. It's been too many instructions, what to do, what not to do, and the player is not creative enough. 1974, you can see 35 players. Good. I will tell you, you go to Australia, Newcomb, Roach, Laver, Roswell, Stolley, Alexander. Then you go to America, you go Arthur Ashe, Grainer, Passarell, Risen, Richie, Bob Latz, Stan Smith, Jimmy Connors, Salomon Dips. You go to Nastas. No, you laugh, but look, we're talking about 1 year. They all play at the same time. They play singles and doubles, best of 5 sets, no tie break. So that, okay, today you have more tools to recuperate from the effort, but don't tell me that Steffi Graf was in worse shape than whoever is today playing women tennis.
I agree.
Or don't tell me that Roy Emerson used to serve and volley 5 sets with the same speed and he has something to envy to anybody, or Borg or Lendl physically. So what are you talking about? And the good players, they were always good physically. You know, if you compare to the video today, let's say most players are physically fit by machine. They all alive, being, wait, this, that, do. But they don't know the streets, and they don't know how to play like this. Square is really boring. The best thing that happened was these 4 guys. Unfortunately, Murray got hurt, but let's say you got Federer, then you got Nadal that had something that to bother Federer, then you have Djokovic that has something to bother Nadal, and then you have Murray that has something to bother Djokovic. So you have strategically, you have a great puzzle that was great for talk about strategy and this and that. But the new generation, I don't know why, because of lack of effort or too much money or this or that, they're not doing the job. And the woman, to me, they're not doing the job either. Now you tell me what the woman, they play like this. You heard some coaches saying you have to play, they play straight, they play flat, they play, come on, tennis is tennis. Come on, Monica Seles play cross. Navratilova is serve and volley. Steffi Graf run around forehand and slide. Come on, tennis is tennis. You can do it, you do it. You cannot do it, you cannot do it.
Exactly.
What do you tell me that this change, that change, you do this? Yeah, it changes. The grass court, it bounces good.
Yeah.
My time, it don't bounce good. And it makes it slower. The ball in Roland Garros makes faster.
Tito, sorry, no, we have 15 seconds. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
No, I love it. The best player you ever seen, Tito, quickly. The best player you ever seen in your life.
No, difficult question.
Okay.
I say Roger is beautiful to the eye.
Okay.
Roger Federer is beautiful to the eye.